Z is a 2019 horror film that is on Shudder. And no, no, it's not about zombies. Had to get that out of the way. It's directed by Brandon Christensen. And it's about a family who finds themselves terrorized by their 8-year-old son's imaginary friend. That's it. That's the premise of the film. That's what the film is about. The film um, is about a family who has a son, and the son reaches a certain age where he begins to talk and interact with not real friends, but an imaginary friend. And that imaginary friend, hence, is his name, Z. They don't really explain if this imaginary friend of his is a demon or a person who has passed away, having a deep interest towards a friend, and now he finds a friend. They don't really explain that much. Same thing with the characters. The character development of this film was kind of lacking. They don't really give us much big dialect of the characters, the mother character, the father character, even the kid character. As when things begin to happen, things begin to progress on the film when it comes to the horror elements, which doesn't really disappoint me. I thought the horror elements in the film really gravitated me to the point where I was satisfied. I was satisfied with the horror of this film, in my opinion. But as for me caring for the characters when things begin to happen, I didn't really care much because, as I mentioned, they don't really show much for us to gravitate to the characters as these things was beginning to happen. For the mother character, for the father character, they gave us enough for us to be aware of what their premise was, for what they were supposed to do into the film. Same thing with the boy character. But for me to care about them when things end up happening, no. That's your typical horror film perspective. You're supposed to have characters on a film to gravitate to the film's premise, but not enough for us to care about them that much. So when things end up happening, you're supposed to be on the edge of your seat, not supposed to be on a brink of emotion. That's what Z is. They give us enough for us to know, not enough for us to care. Even with the entity, they gave us enough for us to know, but not enough for us to care if we should care about Z, if we should not care about Z. So the film is basically us being scared. That's it. The film is us being scared, being filled with jump scares, being filled with tension. And the film succeeds. The film succeeds with that. I'm not trying to dog the film when it comes to the character development. It sounds like I am, but I feel like that's a set bonus. You have a story. Story is kind of, well, it's good, but at the same time, it's not creative, but it's doable for a horror film. So I feel like character development is secondary. Like it's a cherry on top. If you have a story that we can buy into it, let us have a story that has characters that for us to give a shit about. Hereditary has done a great job. So I feel like, well, horror movies is subjective. So you can't please everybody. Sorry for rambling about the character development. I just feel like it should have been done better. It should have been betterly executed, in my opinion. Now, as for the scares, as for the jump scares, we have tons of them. There's even a scene. There's even a jump scare scene where we are also on the edge of our seat, but at the same time, we get pulled in as the character Z has different elements of how to keep the fans entertained. He has scary jump scares. He has tension jump scares. He even has comedy jump scares. Does that exist? I didn't think it did. I didn't think comedy jump scares exist. But watch Z, you'll see what I'm talking about. I feel like with movies like this, well, even if I was a director, I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have had all elements of all different types of scares to appeal to a lot of different people when they watch films like this. You can't just focus on one tension. You need to have different elements of how to make a movie appeal to a lot of fans. It's tough, and Z has pulled that off for me. I was on the edge of my seat. I jumped and laughed. Just saying. The tension on here is amazing. I love the tension onto this film. Another part that this movie has succeeded with, there's even a good scare on the scene on this movie that has pulled me in, that would also pull you in, especially the bathtub scene. There's a bathtub scene on here that if people have watched this film, they will tell you about. And when I seen it, I had a hard time sleeping watching that scene. But that's the reason why I like low budget horror films, is because when I watch films that's Hollywood based, they like to limitate their scares. It's no denying it. Hollywood takes a lot of things out due to the fear of criticism and backlash. But what I like about Shudder, and what I like about other indie films that try to push out these things into the market, they don't hold their punches. It could be some things that they need to improve, of course, but with movies like Z, character development, dialogue, that's it. The movie succeeds of what it's supposed to be. It's a horror film, and they've done it in a fantastic way. But just like horror films, they do fail miserably when it comes to their climactic scenes. Z, the movie scare elements was from start to the middle and drifting away towards the end. I felt like if they would have explained everything and ended everything in a more creatively and satisfying way towards the end, I would have been bought in completely. I felt like they should have just ripped off some creative elements from the Conjuring series and put it on Z. But I felt like the movie, the beginning, suspense, middle, horror all over. Like it's horror all in the middle. In the end, drama and depression and sci-fi. I felt I was getting Insidious vibes all over again, and that's not a good thing. At the end of the day, I feel like the movie had its problems, but it's not enough for me to trash talk the film and tell you to not watch it. If you want to watch a horror film to get scared, Z is going to do you in very good. But if you want to watch it for character development and for a good dialogue, just so you can have more of a gravitational pull towards the characters and towards the film itself, because as for the main kid, I was actually having high hopes for the kid, but even they failed with that as well. They was having some problems with the kid when it comes to him behaving, him having certain connections towards his imaginary friend towards school. We didn't see that. But we had a phone call, like the parents had a phone call explaining this, and I feel like by them not showing that in the film, but us hearing about it, that's a cheap blow. I mean, there are other films that has these type of situations where kids have imaginary friends and they have problems in school. They actually show that, but with Z, I guess they want to be more focused on what happens in the house. No problem there, but I kind of feel like, if you're going to leave everything in the house, let it stay in the house. Don't tease us saying that there are things going on outside, but we don't see what the fuck is going on outside. I'm going to have to give Z a B-. Guys, please, don't take my grade and my trash talk on this film to the point where you don't want to watch it. The movie does deserve your views. The movie is great. It does deserve your praise, but at the same time, this is just my opinion. Please watch it so I can hear you guys' opinions on it as well. Well, like always, guys, please stay tuned for more of my upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is your critic teacher, and you guys have a damn good day.